about the terrorist attack on Kuje Custodial Center on the 5th of July. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said 65 security operatives were on guard at the correctional facility in Kuje on that fateful day. Aregbesola said this when he appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Interior. So what went wrong? Olayinka, let me start from you. 65 security operatives were on guard, and they were overwhelmed, and they had a field day. Some people just describe that Kuje prison attack as, audacious, because we're told that people that saw the video said that not that they only ran into, the facility to set a prisoner free. What they did there, they went there, they had to even preach to them before setting them free. And they made sure they did a clean job by setting free 640 of their own and the entire criminal in this facility. Now, if they were 65 operatives, guarding that facility, what could have happened?
Well,
nobody died.
Well, you could have said that they said there were 300 of such bandits or the terrorists who came. So 300
would have overwhelmed 65.
Will easily overwhelm 65.
And nobody died.
Well, but one thing I want us to even take note specifically that the minister said, he said heavily armed 65 security men. He used that word, heavily armed. And the question is, if they were really heavily armed,
how come the assailants weren't resisted?
Not one of the assailants, not two, not three, were brought down. So if they were not heavily armed, what would have happened? They would have perhaps brought down the whole custodial house or what? So now, when our public officials are talking to us or talking to the public, they should also credit Nigerians with some sense of modesty or some sense of being able to judge things. If you say that 65 heavily armed men, so to what end? We are not even interested in whether they are heavily armed or 65 or 1 or 2. Okay, this has happened. How many months ago or how many weeks ago? Those who are responsible for the security of this custodial center, what has happened to them? Have they been silently punished? Or they have been silently left off the hook? And you see, the problem with us is that the moment you don't punish people who drop the balls, it will continue to happen. And that is exactly where we are today. I would have expected that by now, the day the minister, yesterday when the minister met the members of the House of Representatives Committee, he will have been able to tell them that Mr. So and so were on duty on that day, and this is what has happened to them. Whether on suspension, whether under probe, or whether on or whatever. But what do we have? Nothing. Nothing has been heard, nothing has been said, and up till now, all of them are still sitting pretty well on their seats. We saw a glimmer of hope in Lagos yesterday when the Commissioner for Physical Planning decided to throw in the towel. You might say that, what does that mean? But you see, in all darkness, you celebrate the little light that you have. Whatever it is, whether it was forced or out of his own volition, but we've got somebody who has thought it fit that, look, this thing happened under my watch, and this is what I've done. So coming back to what we are talking about now, who are the officials that supervise these 65 heavily armed security men? What has happened to them?
Okay, let me pause it there, Onyeka. Olabisi, what we are looking at here is those people that were set free. Yes, they've been apprehending them one by one, but when you look at the number of people that are set to be free, dangerous criminals, and these guys, some of them terrorist leaders that have been in that facility since 2010, 2011, 2012, are waiting trial. And you have this kind of situation, and these guys, they're on the rampage across the country now. With the wave of violence across the country, we can't put it behind them that these guys might have gone back to where they were before they were apprehended.
Yeah, definitely they would have, and there are evidence of that. After all, even the victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train alluded to that much. There was a video where they told us that some of them, after they were released, told us that after that Kuje prison attack, that when they came back to the camp, they were unusually happy. I mean, the abductors were unusually happy, and they were rejoicing over the freedom of their mates from Kuje prison. So which means that some of these people apparently have gone to this terrorist group, and the ones that are not terrorists, maybe hardened criminals, probably in prison for armed robbery, murder, and many other serious cases, must have also returned back to their crime, which endangers the entire society as a whole. However, I still want to go back to the statements of the minister about the heavily harmed 65 security operatives at that prison at that particular point in time. I think Minister Aregbesola hid from the public the most important information that people would like to know, because he told the Senate committee that he would not want to talk about the kind of arms that these people were carrying because of media presence, and that he will disclose it to the committee members secretly. That is the most important information that the public wants to know, because heavily harmed is a relative term. Heavily harmed is a relative term. In the eyes of the minister, these people could have been heavily harmed, but compared with the harms that the enemies, the terrorists, carried, their heavy ammunition could be something like nothing. So that is the most important information that we needed to know, because we need to know how the investments, all the huge investments into procurement of arms and ammunition, into security, we need to know how this money is being spent. What kind of arms do these people have? Remember that 4 prisoners were killed during that attack, and one of the prison guards was also killed. And there is no mention of any of these bandits or terrorists, whatever we want to call them. There is even no mention that one of them is even injured in the leg. None of them was even gone. Not that they even killed them.
Maybe the next day you just see dead bodies.
At least let us see 2 dead bodies. Let us even see that at least you tried.
65 of the heavily armed people resisted.
Even if it is not heavily harmed, even if it is ordinary gun that they even carry, if they were armed at all, even if it is cutlass, even if it is cutlass, and they are committed to the security, at least we would have expected that one of those terrorists, even if it is one that 65 of them say, okay, we want to prove that we are doing our work. So it's not a joke. You get what I'm trying to say, because that is quite embarrassing. And I don't also think that the minister's explanation reduced in any way the seriousness and of that particular attack or situation.
So finally, when we look at it, the days ahead, this should not just be, you know, the normal event that will occur in Nigeria, that after another event, it will be swept under the carpet. Nigerians desire to know how the Federal Capital Territory security was actually breached, and a facility like Kuje prison, where did these people come from, and how were they able to access the place, and when they were escaping, how were they able to escape?
You know, if not for the appearance of the minister at the National Assembly now, to the committee, we have almost forgotten it happened. Because in Nigeria is like a book we read in the secondary school, 1 week, 1 trouble. Something happens today, another week, another thing happens, and then, so they pile up and you forget. Now, we must continue to emphasize the need that anyone that drops the ball must face the music. Up till this moment and up till tomorrow, we are still not going to be able to pinpoint that this was what happened, these and these were the people, or these and these were the security breaches that we observed, and what have we done or what are we going to do to correct it? And again, that means it is going to happen again. We pray it doesn't happen, but prayers without work doesn't go anywhere.
Moving on now, abductors of travelers on Owo Ifon Road in Ose local government area in Ondo State have demanded 90 million naira ransom from families of the victims of for their release. The State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Bamidele Ademola Olateju, informed newsmen in Akure that 18 passengers abducted in the bus are with the kidnappers, while 9 have regained their freedom. Ondo State, that is my local government. That's Ose local government. Or Ifon Road, I think Ifon to Imuru should be like 5-10 minutes drive demarcation to Jagba within the whole, that Ose local government. Before now, we've been getting complaints that even farmers could not access their farmland. Yes, they've taken over their farmland. They dare not go into, you know, their farms to farm. When they want to farm, they go together. They go in group, and it's very, very dangerous. Now, people, all is not well with the people in Ose local government. Now, they are asking for 90 million naira. People that were traveling, you know. So,
how would they get the money?
90 million naira for abducted people.
And you see, this is just sad and very unfortunate. It is the kind of thing that you just, when you hear them, you wonder if we still have anything called government, and if there is still anything called governance in these parts of the world. You see, gradually we are seeing what is happening in the far north, happening consistently in the southern part and in the southwest.
These are pictures of people abducted. They were actually coming from the function.
They went for a party, and in fact, 32 of them were in that bus.
Where do you want these people to get?
These ones, how do you get
90 million naira?
Look at them. Look at them.
These are young men.
Yes.
That they're just starting their lives.
And you see, it's just too sad. But I tell you that the relatives of these ones will do anything to get that money to secure their release. Already, the Ondo State government has come out to tell us that they don't negotiate with kidnappers, and that they are not going to negotiate with kidnappers, because when you negotiate with criminals, you embolden them to continue. But the relatives of these ones are not going to keep quiet.
They're not going to wait for the government.
They are not going to wait for government, and they are not going to say, because government is not helping us, we are not going to help ourselves. If they have houses, they are going to sell them. Look at these young people. From the look of things of these people, do you think they even have 1 million naira in their accounts in Nigeria's present economic situation. So it's so sad. Look at everything. But if they have to sell their houses, if they have to borrow, whatever they need to do, they have to do it in order to secure the release of their loved ones. Now the question is, for how long? For how long are we going to continue with this? Because already
that industry is booming.
It's booming. That's what I want to say. That already we have been told that the ones that were kidnapped last, is it in Samfara or where, that they use them on the farm. When they are not able to pay ransom, they take them to farmlands and they are using them as slaves to be working on the farmlands. So for how long do we want to continue with this kind of situation? That is why I told you earlier on that
in your own country.
Yes, that it seems as if there is no modicum of governance in the land. When you see this kind of thing happening from time to time, I'm not saying that, even in the best of the worlds where there are, the developed ones, that we don't have security issues. We have security issues, but we are talking about the intensity and the frequency and the
across
particular,
the country.
It's even a certain level of crime. Not that you are doing robbery here, kidnapping or whatever. We are talking about a kidnap industry, a booming kidnap industry. And we cannot do anything about it. And it is spreading and spreading and spreading. For how long do we put up with this kind of situation?
And the family of these people that were abducted, definitely they're on their own. In any country, government will be there to assure them, to tell them that we're doing everything we need to do around the clock to get, your family members back. But in a situation whereby the state government does not want to negotiate, and they'll be at the mercy of this family to negotiate, to talk directly with the terrorists, the bandits.
The most worrying aspect of it all is that when you take a look at the picture we have seen, it could have been one's brother, it could have been one's sister, it could have been one's relative or one's son or daughter and all that. And then you ask yourself, when this young man comes out, when these young men come out of this trial now, of this ordeal, will anybody want to tell them that there is a government in Nigeria and they will not scoff at you? Will anybody want to tell them that government cares about you and they will not scoff at you? And then you begin to ask yourself, there's this current talk now, Japa and all that.
Yeah.
When you see young people, they tell you they have completely lost hope in this country. These are the kind of things that lead to that. Because now, the other time I said that Ondo State has become like a testing ground into the Southwest.
Let's pick this call. Ade is calling us from London. Thank you for joining us, Ade.
Ayo, my greeting to the panelists there.
Yes, go ahead.
My contribution to this issue, because it's bothering me seriously. If there's a news now that they kidnapped 30 cows, Galvashe will issue notice from Asoro. Now, my governor in Ondo State asked for Amatekun to be armed. They refuse. But they can give arm to Sao Paulo to protect the petrol, because that is their own interest. Human life is not their interest. My people are not in the forest, kidnapped. In my town now, they are kidnapped, they are in the forest now. For part of not their own. The government failed to provide security for our people. They are not languishing in the forest. Where are they going to get 90 million? My governor keep on crying. Give Amatekun ammunition, they refuse. But they want Sao Paulo to have all the weapons. And if they say they keep 10 cows in Ondo now, that's what we talk. God will rescue Nigeria. I know that. We should keep on praying for Nigeria. God will rescue Nigeria. This federal government, they have no clue what to do at all.
Thank you, Ade. Thank you for your contribution. And I say amen to your prayer that God will rescue Nigeria.
Ondo State is being used now as a testing ground.
The whole of Ose local government is under siege.
Is under siege. And
Jagba,
you begin to ask yourself,
Owo,
what exactly do we have a government for. You might blame, people might continue to blame the state governors till now, from now till eternity.
We can't even blame the state government.
Okay, he just spoke now about Amotekun. Who will give them arms?
The limits. Okay,
there's a limit.
If bandits, heavily armed bandits can attack Kuje prison.
So
how will
who are
Amotekun...
heavily armed? What about Amotekun that they just go around with
I even think Amotekun even is helping in Ondo State.
Yes.
Because at least 9 of them escaped.
Yes.
And Amotekun were the people that rescued 7 of them.
Others.
7 in the forest. Because they said that Amotekun got to the scene 15 minutes after a call was put through to them. So which means that if not for Amotekun self, the 32 people, you know, they were 32 and they kidnapped.
Maybe all of them will have been.
Maybe all of them will have been. So Amotekun is trying his best, in spite of the fact that they were not well harmed.
Yes.
Yes, they are still trying. But I mean, how can you compare?
And with the new bill signed into law so that they can be carrying...
I think that is why we talk about restructuring, and that is why we also talk about... We will still come back to this issue of state police. We still come back to the fact that we should allow states to police themselves. Now, there is a limit to what Amotekun can carry, because by law, they cannot carry arms.
Yeah.
So how do you expect Amotekun to even confront
somebody carrying an RPG? Rocket propelled.
So how do
even if it is AK-47 they are carrying, Amotekun is not carrying any. So how will they not?
Maybe Amotekun is
bullet
carrying
of the anti-aircraft, with them.
So the issue now is that government must come to terms with what exactly we want to do. Is it that, in fact, you know that such things are the things that keep the economy moving? Because you can see the uniform they are wearing. Somebody sold it to them, they paid, and so no matter how small, somebody is getting money to do. So if you now kill that industry, you now allow bandits to take over everywhere, you can't travel from one town to the other, and then you begin... I mean,
just imagine
what is government for?
These people will pass through.
Exactly. When I look at these faces...
The more they stay with them...
I mean, when I look at these faces, I see young girls, look at this one, young girls, and...
What will you be doing on... Okay, those ones with the Abuja...
the Kaduna,
Kaduna Abuja,
yes.
For 6 months now.
Yeah.
How would they be feeding them? How would they be, they will be wearing the same clothes? And where would they be sleeping?
They are subjected to the weather. So when it is raining, they sleep maybe under a tree. We don't even know whether the tree there is a snake there or whatever. I mean.
Okay, now, my own problem here is that we've not done things that will serve as deterrent to these kidnappers, apart from the air bombardment.
That is what I wanted to talk about.
The success rate that we've recorded in terms of rescue is almost zero.
Yeah. My fear now is that this thing has become a trend, an acceptable one.
For such a rescue?
Nothing. It's like it has now become part of our psyche that, okay, kidnapping is one of those things. That is even the dangerous dimension. Initially, you will even see governments, everybody talking about it.
Yeah.
Now, nobody talks about it. It's like another kidnap. One of those things. And it also coming back to your question. It's like that because it shows the level of our nonchalance towards the matter. We are not taking it as a serious issue. That is why we are not even arresting people. You remember when kidnapping was kidnapping, when it initially started
in Niger Delta.
Yes.
And the time they even arrested our kingpin, the Evans.
Yes.
You know the rate at which everybody, everywhere, was like a major criminal has been arrested and all of that.
Thinking that would be the end of it.
But in all of this, have you heard of any major kingpin among these terrorists, or I don't know what to call them, arrested at all? No. And that is why it keeps going on.
All right.
When you don't punish people,
we have to go on a break.
We'll
take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. Stay with us.
The federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, announces the availability of COVID-19 and childhood vaccines nationwide. With the disturbing increase in reported cases of COVID-19 infections across Nigeria, protect yourself and loved ones from the harmful virus by getting vaccinated. Visit the nearest public or private health facility and mass vaccination sites today to receive the first, second or booster doses of COVID-19 vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines are given to persons 18 years and above, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, while childhood vaccines are given to children from birth to 5 years for protection against polio, hepatitis, yellow fever, measles, meningitis, and other vaccines-preventable diseases. All vaccines are free, safe, and effective. For inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122.
This message is from NPHCDA in partnership with the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from MacArthur Foundation.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're...
Let's hear it from the brand builders, brand enthusiasts, brand promoters, and brand heroes. The 2022 edition of Marketing Edge Awards and Marketing Summit honors outstanding marketing professionals at a 2-in-1 epoch-making event, which holds on Friday, September 16th, 2022. Guest speakers at the Marketing Summit, Mrs. Tolulope Adedeji, Marketing Director and Board Member, AB InBev West Africa, and Mr. Emeka Okeke, Founder and CEO, Media Fuse Densu. Special guest of honor and keynote speaker at the award night, Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Special guest of honor, Executive Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, who will also deliver the opening remarks at the event. Venue, Harbour Point Hall, Victoria Island. Time, 5 p.m. prompt. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Marketing Edge, promoting the brand idea.
In case you are just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, and we're reaching you live from TVC News from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. And I still have Olayika Oyebile and Olabisi Deji Folutule with me. Now, what started like a rumor regarding the searchlight on the financial dealings in the Ogun State House of Assembly is turning to be a real fire on the mountain. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has filed an 11-count charge of conspiracy, forgery, and stealing against Speaker of the House of Assembly, Olakunle Oluomo, and 3 others. The EFCC said it intends to call 10 witnesses to testify and tender documents and exhibits in the suits filed but at the Federal High Court in Abeokuta. The State House of Assembly, the Speaker allegedly siphoned how, let me use the exact language of the EFCC, that 2.6 billion naira, developed wings, and they are looking for it.
They didn't carry it at once. So.
Okay.
It's small.
It's gradually.
Small. One was, there was a time they carried, let me read it. There was a time they took The entire money is 2.75 billion naira. One is 900 million. Another one, and it's from 2019. Apparently they've been stealing their thing small by small. At another time, they took 375 million naira.
Is it the assembly or Mr. Speaker? The office of the Speaker?
I think it's the office of the Speaker.
Okay.
It's the office of the Speaker. I'm reading it out for you to know. Another time, they took another 300 million naira. So, another time, they transferred 2 million naira. So, why I'm reading it out is to let us know that how is the auditing process of that assembly? What is the auditing process that could allow an individual in connivance with a few people to steal as much as 2.4 billion naira in 2 years?
In 2 years.
In 2 years. Now, even 1.1 million is part of this thing, which means that there is no auditing of that office. That's on one side. Then the other side is, if a speaker could steal 2.4 billion naira from a state house of assembly,
a state that is struggling to maintain satellite roads, to maintain basic roads across the states, Mowe, Ibafo, Ofada, Lambe, Akute, Ota, Songo. If you go to Songo, it's like, Songo is like, it's, I don't know.
I don't even know how they do.
I don't know how to describe Songo.
Maybe that.
Okay,
because I've never seen that Songo road.
Oh no! I went to AIT Road, Alagbado, so I had the bad luck of flying towards that Songo Ota road. It's as if they are at war.
No. In fact, it's
that's what we go through every day to come out.
It's as if there's war. As in, I can't describe the way that's Ota Express Road.
Even Ota, the one from the major express.
Yes, from Auto Gate.
Yes, from Auto Gate to that.
And that's you know that's why
I see people that are living there. They are not human beings. That they are animals. Then a speaker
is now
can sit down to take 2.6 billion naira.
You know, that's why some of us keep asking, as she has said, the auditing process, how much is the ceiling that an individual, whether you are a speaker, whether you are a governor, whether you are president or whatever, is there no ceiling of how much you can sign out at a particular time, or is it that this thing is being
most of the time it's done in connivance with maybe the clerk of the house, the bureaucracy of the house?
Now, we now begin to see why we are so underdeveloped. I mean,
okay, what does it mean? 2.6 billion naira.
You know
what does it take?
You know what it can do.
As in, what do you want to do with it?
What do
in 2 years? 2.6 billion naira.
Is part of what they do with it was exactly where they got him. Where did they get him? They got him at the international airport. He was traveling away. He was traveling out. In this time that everybody is talking about scarcity of foreign exchange and all that, he was going abroad. To do what?
Enjoying himself.
I mean, so at the end of the day, you find out that this 2-point-something billion, if you search him very well, he may not have up to 1 million naira left with him, because they have spent that money recklessly with all abandon, that nobody would query them and all that. There must be a check and balance system that will make sure.
Sorry, is he still the Speaker of that state?
He is, of course.
And his colleagues are seated there?
Well, that is the unfortunate aspect of it. You see, the people that we are dealing with is, as Freddie Forsyth says, there should be honor among thieves. Maybe it is that honor that they are up, because they are all of them, they are all guilty. Maybe the chairman of one committee or the other is also guilty of that. So they will see it as such. But in a sane House of Assembly, at this point, they should have called for him to either step aside or resign or impeach him. But in fact, I even heard that the House of Assembly has refused to sit because of his arrest. Why? I mean, it's like
some of them might be in this court.
Yes,
solidarity.
They are supporting him. Is like he's one of us. But must you support someone who has tarnished the image of your House of Assembly? Someone who, I mean, did they even ask him questions that, Mr. Speaker, sir, what did you do with this money? Now that money perhaps is voted for the House. There must be some things there that are not functioning. Has he done?
Or the budget for the year?
Did they ask him? Okay, the other day we complained that the speaker is not functioning. You said there was no money. So this is where the money is going. So until we begin to ask
like
questions.
I know of the operation, like Lagos State House of Assembly now, is like they have this financial autonomy. They're on the first line charge or whatever you call it. There's a Lagos State House of Assembly commission and everything. So they don't. It's not that the EXCO. They're not at the mercy of the executive to get their allocation. There's a statutory for the independence. That thing was signed under when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State. I think that's his first House of Assembly achieved that. So ever since that time, most houses of assembly, you don't need to ask for small things from your governor. Maybe at the end of the year, there's a certain amount that
they have budgetary
allocation.
Yeah.
So maybe this is what is...
Actually, I can tell you for free that this is just peanuts. 2.4 billion naira that we are talking about.
Peanuts.
Is going to be maybe just
a tip of the iceberg.
Sweet or biscuit money. And I can tell you that these people, they are rogues. And the ones supporting them, all of them are the same. This man is not spending this money alone. No.
Of course.
He's not spending it alone. That is why his mates and colleagues are also in solidarity with him, because it is not even possible for him to do it alone. And if I want to even tell you what is going on in my mind, I have a feeling that even all of these things are playing is because some people are probably
not happy with him.
Not having enough
of it, and they are
that's why they have to.
They spill the bill.
That is what is occurring to me, because usually you don't even hear
because this is
things like
the
this.
non-practice. Okay, I have Suleiman from Abuja.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. You see the reason why ASU and the doctors in Nigeria are always in incessant strike. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. You see the reason why our lecturers, ASU, and our doctors are always in incessant strike, telling government that they have money. And government said they don't have money. If an individual, a speaker of a house, can take such amount of money, just one person in Ogun State, where they always not unable to pay their salary for their staff, I'm sure the lecturers there too are on strike. Tell me, how will ASU now go back to school to say they want to go and teach the students? And government is saying they don't have money, but their own person, the politician now, is taking this huge amount of money, and nothing is being done. At least Nigeria needs to rethink and do something better for ourselves.
Well, all right. Thank you. And, well, this is still in the realm of allegation. So maybe if he's indicted by this court of law, that is when we now say, go ahead to say he's a certified thief. But right now, he was allegedly
another word,
alleged to have.
Well, another word for it is also that the AFCC also needs to do its groundwork and homework very well.
So that they don't bungle this.
Yes. Recently, the former governor of Plateau State, who is now a senator, was absolved of all those charges. So the EFCC itself maybe should be slow in acting and act only when they have iron cast evidence. Because now, with all this now,
he was arrested, interrogated, and taken to court. So they have 11 count charge now. And from what you've seen,
EFC, as far as EFCC is concerned, it said it has 10 witnesses.
Yes.
And it has named the witnesses.
They would have
no problem with that, those ones. The issue is they must have iron cast evidence, because things like this have been happening. You just hear, oh, Mr. So and be arrested by EFCC, and they go to court. He runs the courts, and the court says no, you have no evidence. That was what happened in.
They don't have a case that's.
I mean,
okay, let's see. It's just the beginning of the trial, and we promise to follow up with this and see the end of it, so that the people of Lambert, Akute, Alagbole, Ishashi, Ota, they can be vindicated that yes, the people that have stifled their growth with the responsibility. I don't even care. Maybe that is the legislative arm of government, but it's not just proper. And finally, the back and forth surrounding the All Progressive Congress APC senatorial ticket for Yobe North Senatorial District is yet to be put to rest. The winner of the ticket, Bashir Sheriff Machina, has, for the opt-in time, denied withdrawing for Senate President Ahmed Lawal or resigning his membership of the ruling All Progressive Congress. Machina stated that the purported withdrawal letter circulating in some quarters was forged and made out of mischief and blackmail. Now, INEC will put all this to rest on the 20th of this month. Yeah. Abi?
Yes.
When the list
they will
of
publish the list of
full list of what they want to do and everything. So we will know how far. But from the face of it, this man is saying he's not backing down. And
actually,
no retreat, no surrender.
I don't know why.
For Ahmed Lawal.
I don't know why Ahmed Lawan is still competing or contesting for this ticket, in spite of all that has happened. I think by now he should have known that this fellow is not ready to step down for him. And the dangerous thing about this is that a letter could be forged. That's
criminal.
Criminal. Why should anybody attempt to forge a letter on behalf of somebody just because you want
who
a
is
name?
Still alive?
Who is still even if the person is dead, okay, he has relatives now that can fight for him. So why the desperation? That's the point I'm trying to make. That why the desperation? What is so big deal in this senatorial ticket that one should go to this extent just to get the ticket? This man says he's not stepping down, and it's within his right to say that he doesn't want to step down. I guess Lawan made a mistake from the beginning by putting somebody that he thought would be loyal to be trusted him, and he was sure that maybe probably that one would not disappoint him. And he came back and got his ticket. But this person also, who has seen now Ahmed Lawan, is probably enjoying as a senator. He's saying that he wants to be a senator, and you cannot say that he should not be a senator. He's a Nigerian. He has all the right to become a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria if he is elected to occupy that position. And it's just for 4 years. I mean, it's not... After 4 years, another person
what you're commonizing as just for 4 years.
Yes, for 4 years. Let
if they list all the allowances accrued,
let Lawan also just be out of that power. He's been there for, let him just rest for just 4 years. It's not too much. That 4 years is not just, it's not too much now. It's our Senate president. He's been enjoying the position. Let another person who may even just be ordinary floor member.
And what some people will argue, they will tell you that this is a ranking person in the Senate, a Senate president with the knowledge and everything and the experience that he has acquired, that the older the better.
The same argument which we will prefer that you have the experience, you are ranking, you are what, and all what not. Why then did you think you want to have an executive power to be president? I mean, you see,
that backfired.
There's that word that they say that a bird at hand is worth thousands of his type in the bush. This man, only God knows whatever confidence he had to have pursued it up to that last minute. I mean, when you look at it,
No, at the point in time, the party national chairman disclosed that it was a consensus candidate.
Well, you see, all those things
never worked out.
One, in the first place, I think people should even have thought about it. He should have thought about it very well. In Nigeria of today, how will you want to vote after 8 years of presidency to the north and another northerner again? I know. If what led to Jonathan's exit, according to them, Jonathan agreed with the leaders of the party that, okay, he concluded the latter part of Yar'Adua's term, and that he will do only one term. But when Jonathan got there, who will they put honey in his mouth and spit it out? Jonathan decided to say, no, I want to take another term. And they said, no way. Will anybody have thought that after 8 years of power in the north, no matter how the party chairman tells you that, you want to ramrod that down the throat of Nigerians, it won't work. It won't work. So it is only, that means we are crediting these people with so much street sense, which they don't possess. I mean, you can't, look, Yoruba will say, if they are deceiving you, don't deceive yourself. Look, you cannot, it's like putting you on a horse. That tortoise story that they put him on you on the horse and they dig a pit for you and put a throne there and say you should sit down, and then you sit down and you jump into the down. I'm irrigation. So I mean, the truth of the
okay, I have Phillips. Phillips is calling us from Warri, and in Delta State. Okay, it's not there.
As Senate President, you are already Senate President. I mean, he's vaulting.
Is it that he doesn't have rights to aspire to become the president? He's number 3 man to want to move to number 2.
That's even where I'm coming in. I have no problem with Lawan desiring to become the president of Nigeria.
Okay, but since he has lost,
it's right to aspire.
To aspire to become the president of Nigeria. I have no problem with that. Now, you have contested that position and you lost. He's not the only person that lost out. Many others lost out. And it's normal. The point is this. You calculate your whatever.
That you can't eat your cake and have it again.
You should know that, okay.
The electoral law has changed.
Yes, that now that, okay.
Before you
he decided, he was conscious of his action. He consciously took a step to contest as a presidential candidate for APC. Now, you should know that if you did that and you took a gamble.
Yes, if it had paid off.
If you took a gamble, and even if you now say, okay, somebody is acting as a placeholder, you should also have it at the back of your mind that it might not work out. You know, he's a politician, and that is where I am concerned, for example, and I'm just bothered about this long winding thing about him getting that ticket by all means.
So we're waiting on INEC. Richard is calling us from Lagos. Hello, Richard.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, good evening, Madam and Ayo.
Good evening, Richie.
I'm talking in respect of Lawan. Yes, Mr. Lawan.
Yes,
You
go
are,
ahead.
you are. And this arrangement, that was why I considered promising that he's going to get the tickets of the APC to be a spoiler to Atiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, and that thing failed. And along the line again, he still wants to get back to the Senate again. Maybe he has the feeling that if he goes back, he'll still be the Senate president. APC wins it. Maybe that was his plan.
Okay.
But
I think the
audio
is muffled. And Senator, this Machina man is not a small man. I was told that he has been in the House of Representatives.
Yes, I think I heard that.
Yeah, he has a pedigree, and it's not something that.
Well, honestly, I think.
But he's also in his place. If it's possible for Senator Ahmed Lawal to sit down with Machina and they iron it out and they decide.
Well, they should, but it shows you that
we have a
our
case like this. We have a case like this in Ebonyi State.
Yes.
And
the
woman that picked up the tickets.
Yes.
The party is now saying that they've suspended that woman. That is no longer you are no longer a card-carrying member of our party. That you cannot fly a party ticket for anti-party activity to.
So what would they want to say Machina has done now? You see, the issue now is just like they did with the not allowing themselves to vote during the primaries for electing their candidate.
Yes, that oversight.
It shows that these people don't read the electoral law very well. They are the one who passed it. If as the Senate president, if you knew this was going to happen,
amendment,
why will you have allowed that? You will have stood exactly. You will have stood your ground that no electoral law. We are not going to put this in it. We are not going to agree. But they now agree. He's now caught in his own web, and he wants to.
So we wait until the 20th of September.
Yes, when the
just a few days down the line.
When INEC
release all the
list of all candidates for the 2023 general election. Maybe before then, both of them will have agreed, and he will have picked the tickets. But until then, one good thing is that INEC has insisted that it's going to do the right thing.
Yeah,
and
at least
that is very good. And
okay, just before we go, let's take time out to celebrate one of our own, Ayodeji Muradeyo, our Ondo State correspondent, who is 50 today. Ayolomo. Ayodeji is 50 today. Ayo is our correspondent in Ondo State.
Happy birthday, take care. Ondo State has become like a testing ground for bandits, please. We wish you all the best.
The golden man.
Yes, so welcome to 50. Welcome to the fifth floor.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
And many happy returns.
Many happy returns to Ayodeji Muradeyo. Not forgetting our own, one of our own too. Yes, one of the lawyers for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and a lecturer of law from University of Lagos, Wahab Shitu, is also 60 today. WK Shitu, I call him, is 60 today, a dogged fighter, a lawyer par excellence, and somebody that is extremely down to earth. I've known WK Shitu for over 25 years.
Wow.
You are welcome to the 6th floor. Wahab, it's nice to see your face again, and we wish you all the best. At this age, you slow down a bit, but don't slow down in doing good.
Yes, he's a lecturer of law. I still want my friend to become the senior advocate of Nigeria. SAN, yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You are still young.
Yes, WK.
He's still young.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'm sure that my brother here, because he has already climbed that
That ladder.
so he thinks
We all hope to climb the ladder one day.
Well, Very soon we will celebrate you
Amen.
as a son in this country.
Yeah.
By the grace of God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
A wonderful man. Saying, we wish Ayo Lomo, Ayo Deji, Murario, and WK Shitu happy birthday. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. and join us every Sunday from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you and God bless Nigeria.
It's not just a party. It's where we jaye. It's not just a beat. It's Afrobeat. It's not your average wedding. It's a Nigeria.